Okay.
Yeah, come on.
Welcome to the Yeah Come On Show with Southside Steve.
Yeah, come on. And I am wearing Yeah, come on colors. Look at this. I got my burgundy on. I didn't realize we have a burgundy. I don't know what the PTS color of that logo is.
PMS.
Sorry. What did I say? PTS?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
PSD or PTSD or something. Yeah, I get it confused. Whatever. PMS colors. It's Southside Steve, Jeff Cole, and yes, we're in the Exit Wealth Studios right here in Alpharetta, Georgia, and we're going to kick this Friday off like we do most Fridays, talking with Peter Conlon, chairman of Live Nation Georgia, and we call it In the Green Room with Peter Conlon. How you doing, Peter? Good morning. I know you're grabbing a cup of coffee over there at Live Nation right now.
No, I'm actually work from home on Fridays. So.
Oh, man, look at that. All right, so it's just you and Rufus. I like it.
Yep.
All right, he gets to stay at home. Okay, for us, we met somebody yesterday. I've known him for years, and I kind of knew of the story, but it was Danny Hamilton with Star Coaches, and he rents out the buses to a lot of the rock stars that you've booked over the years. Yeah, you know Danny. And we were looking back. We know when you and Alex came together was the 1980-81 mark. You were becoming partners. And then for a while, you were on our concert stubs, just your names, Cooley Conlon. And then you go through these different stages. As we've learned in your business, sometimes there's buyouts. But for Alex, after it was just you two, we just want to get the story of exactly how it ended with you guys and how you were led to Live Nation, because Danny was talking about the bus for Alex, and it was retirement, and he was looking to tour the country and just have a good time. So obviously he wasn't working full time with you then.
No, he had left for years before that.
Okay.
He was, gosh, about 65, I think, when he left the company. It was then Live Nation. We had sold in '97 to SFX, who then went through various structures. It was Clear Channel.
Oh boy.
And then Clear Channel spun us off as Live Nation, which was good. And Alex left a little after that. He had really pretty much divorced himself from the business once we sold. He hardly ever came in. He was up at his farm. He was just on the payroll, but he really wasn't active in anything. He was just kind of staying involved with his name. And I guess he was around 65, and he retired.
Yeah.
But then he got bored, so he started trying to do some things on his own. He bought Eddie's Attic.
Oh, that's right.
He tried a few minor shows, which, I talked to him and I said, yeah, Alex, you went out with a great reputation. Don't do this.
Yeah.
I said, you're doing this little stuff that's embarrassing. I said, and he, I don't know, I think he was kind of angry about how he left or something, but he finally kind of seemed to find a little bit of peace. And he had told me he'd bought this bus, and I had told him for years, go travel, do some things you've always talked about doing, because this business is so much a lifestyle that you're always tied up in something.
Right.
And he bought a bus. And actually, as they were driving the bus to deliver it to him, he passed away.
I know. That's what Danny told us yesterday in our studio. You can watch yesterday's episode, Danny Hamilton of Star Coaches. He goes, we were out, literally calling out front, and nobody's
to deliver the bus.
To deliver the bus, and no one's answering. I was like, oh, my God.
Yeah, he had passed away in his sleep. And there were some friends staying with him, and they called me and told me that he had gone.
Yeah.
but he went peacefully in his sleep, which is good. But he had been told a year before, he had congestive heart failure, he had 3 heart attacks, and
Right.
he had congestive heart failure. And a year prior, the doctor had said, "Look, you can wear this heart pump, and it'll give you a few more years. But if you don't, at the best, you have a year." And he pretty much died almost a year after that because he wouldn't wear the heart pump. He thought it was cumbersome
Wow.
and didn't want to wear it. So he, his heart finally gave out.
Yeah. God,
Because
that's
at one time
tough.
when I met Alex, he was over 400 pounds, and he was a smoker
Yeah.
in his early days, but he stopped later on.
I didn't know he was up at 400 when I ran across him, of course, during that 9-month, 10-month time frame on 96 Rock, and that was 94. The Alex Cooley in the Electric Ballroom, which is why we do Peter Conlon in the green room, just to get all this stuff out. And I think to any Atlantan, they're loving it. Somebody's been here 20 years. My sister-in-law called up Peter. Sometimes he can help us with comp tickets. Sometimes it's pay fors. But these concerts sell out so fast. And then you try to buy tickets in the open market, and they're 10 times the amount that Peter would sell it to you. And Peter, thank you for that. You hooked her up. But it's like, you've got all these shows and all this stuff going on. And it's just like you said, you're still in the hustle. It hasn't stopped really for you. But for Alex, it did. And I just kind of want people to know, your intro in the business, how you guys dominated the Southeast for sure, and then how the buyouts went. And I never knew you were caught up in Clear Channel. I know I was, and it was horrible. Horrible.
Oh, it was the worst experience of my life.
Oh, horrible.
They were idiots.
Yes, 100%.
They put salary caps on all the promoters, and the best promoters left. I mean, Louis Messina, who now has Taylor Swift and Ed Sheeran and whatever, left over $300,000 raise.
Oh my God.
And that's why they got rid of all the good DJs, because they put them on salary caps. I mean,
yeah,
it was second generation wealth. The two sons didn't know how to run the company, in my opinion, but it was a terrible time. And good thing was Michael Rapino convinced them to spin off our company because they didn't know what to do with it. They bought it thinking there'd be this synergy between radio and concerts, which there really isn't.
No.
Because there was just two different parts of the business.
Right.
And they thought because they had radio, they would get artists to play for them, which you can't do. I mean, it was like it made no sense. And they paid $4 billion for a company worth less than $1 billion.
Oh God. Just stupid moves. I mean, you look at this and
a handshake deal with no due diligence.
Oh my God.
So it was, and then they made our lives miserable. They closed the Cotton Club. They closed the Roxy because they didn't understand it and how it fit in the business. I mean, it took me years to get those things back, but Rapino's done a really good job, and he got them to spin it off into Live Nation, and then it became its own company, and it's the business again.
Yeah.
And the business has changed. I mean, it's bigger. It's it's not. It was a cottage industry when Alex and I were in it. I had to convince Alex to get an office. He liked working out of his house, and I'm like, Alex, we're a business. We need an office. And I had to convince him to get an office, and then finally he liked it because I got this house he liked. But he thought it was just like the 60s. He could work out of his den, and in those days there weren't many promoters, and the agents called you and asked you, and you had a lot more power, and that was shifting, so it was getting more competitive. So he finally relented, and we got an office. And at the time we were purchased, we were the biggest promoters in the Southeast.
Man.
We were doing shows in Florida, Georgia, North South Carolina, Mississippi, Louisiana, Oklahoma. We did 2 tours. We did Willie in Australia and the Highwaymen in Australia, and Willie and the Highwaymen in Europe. So we were one of the bigger companies. People just didn't realize how big we were. And we were like the second one I think Sillerman purchased. but I saw the future and wanted to be a part of it.
I'm so glad you are too, because you could have easily retired yourself. But the fact that you are keeping a level head, I like the fact that you understand the business, you know where the business should go, and obviously people listen to you because you don't want this thing getting any screwed up. Then it has to be like what happened with Clear Channel. Boy, it wrecked radio as bad as it did you. They did less is more. They thought if you just spoke, I was on an afternoon show and they go, we want you guys to talk 1 minute. And I literally looked at Tim Rhodes and I said, okay, you want to go 35 seconds? I'll go 25 seconds. And then the next time we'll flip it. Right. And we basically signed our own firing. And outside of mornings, they just didn't want people talking. They didn't think personalities mattered. And I was like, good Lord. So I apologize.
That's crazy, because that is the only thing that keeps you separate from satellite radio.
Thank you.
Is the local personality.
Yeah. And I know the nice things you've said because it got back to me from Axel, when I got let go, even at Cumulus, you're like, hey man, you just let one of the best personalities go out the door, because it does matter, especially for Atlanta. And I know what you said, which is another reason why I would show up at your house to dump your trash or take a bullet in the leg for you. I never say center mass, just the leg, just the leg. Peter, I want to survive saving you.
But you will take a bullet.
But I will take a bullet for you, Peter Conlon. But yeah, I just think that what you've done, you've affected my life so much on an entertainment level, on the concerts I've been able to see, the ticket prices I paid, and then since then, knowing you in radio, and I just think Atlanta needs to know, and still now, man, you're dealing with State Farm, you're the Dome, you just had Willie in. It's so good that somebody like you is touching it that gets it. And that's what I'm afraid of when guys like you aren't in it, or the personalities coming up behind me. I know the world has to change, but somehow I think the past, we did a lot of things the right damn way. And I love that for Live Nation Georgia, for you, for sure.
Yeah, but it's inevitable. It'll change at some point. I'll leave. It's going to be more corporate. It's just the nature of the business. It's gotten so big.
Damn it.
The money's gotten so crazy. The artist fees, and that's why ticket prices are so high. And it's very competitive, but at a much different level, at the corporate level, where artists are, getting tour guarantees of $120-150 million up front. Locals can't afford that. So it's a different business. But
no, tickets are crazy
to evolve. Yeah, it'll continue to evolve. Ticket prices only gone down if two things happen: if the artists are willing to make less money, which they're not,
okay,
or if people stop paying them, which they're not. So it's a free market. So everybody talks about wanting, just as I started, I remember that in the old days of the Grateful Dead, they used to yell at us, all the fans, they wanted free concert tickets, the Grateful Dead fans. They didn't think they should pay. It should be free. Music should be free. Well, the Grateful Dead didn't think that.
That's awesome. Oh my God. They're like, guess what? You should pay. We want money. Oh, that is hilarious. They should have just said that on stage to their audience. Hey, I know a lot of you think this should be free. Are you effing crazy?
Yeah. Like those people want to go to work for free every day,
Yeah. Oh my God. It is nuts. Entertainment. And I know now a lot of these cities do the free concerts, but it comes out of the taxes that you pay. It comes from a budget, and these bands aren't that expensive. They're $3-4 grand. They're tribute bands. But that's how these cities, I've never expected anything for free, other than I guess the fact that I've left my DNA all over this city, busting my butt, for dimes on the dollar on appearances. And thank God I know a guy like you that's all we ever got in radio. You might get a concert t-shirt, or not a concert t-shirt. You got your station shirt, maybe a jacket, and you got some concert tickets. And that was the only freebies we got in radio.
Mm-hmm. And that even started to end.
That ended, yeah. That started going away. And Peter, that's a quick question. What is it with artists that they have comp tickets and some shows don't have comp tickets for people in the industry? Or like with you guys, if you wanted to give tickets to corporate people or to individuals, sometimes your hands are tied and you cannot.
Well, here's the problem: is if you have an artist going on a tour and he's doing 50 dates, and the ticket prices like they are now, if there's say 300 comps, at $200 a ticket.
Mm.
I mean, you do that time 50 dates, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, it is.
So a lot of bands are saying no comps.
Okay.
The one that kind of bother me are the bands that tell you no comps and then they take comps. So, it's, but I understand that. I think that it got out of hand for a while there. People always call them thinking they deserve comps.
No. It's always a request, and it's always one of those things that, to me, you pick and choose. And then for me, at least in my position, if I do get a comp, then I'm like, I want to really sell the show prior to. And while I'm there covering the venue, that's the only way I know to give back, other than when I see you backstage giving you a hug. But you're right. I don't know about deserving. There's friend groups and people have to buy tickets. It is a business. But the good news is, even if you can't get a comp ticket, you can get a ticket at a normal price, not a secondary market price.
Oh yeah, well that's the big thing we get blamed for. And a lot of people understand the difference between the secondary and the primary market is that these scalpers,
Oh,
I don't call them brokers, I call them scalpers.
that's exactly what they are.
They use bots, which are illegal, but
Yeah.
the government doesn't enforce it. And they pretend to be people. And when a show goes on sale, these bots will hit an on sale. Sometimes we've seen as many as 3,000 and 4,000 tickets get grabbed by these computers.
Damn it.
And they're all over the world. I mean, and then these people sell these tickets to StubHub and SeatGeek and these companies who are, quote, brokers. So they can say, gee, we're just a broker. We don't own the ticket. We don't know where it came from. Because there's no legislation on brokers. Okay. And if they sell you a counterfeit ticket, they're going to tell you to go to the person who had the ticket, because they're just a broker. And of course, you don't know where it came from.
Hell no.
It happens all the time on shows. We get stuck because they don't check to see if tickets are real or not. They just sell them. So a lot of shows I have people coming up to me with counterfeit tickets, and they're like, hey, can you make this good? And I'm like, no, you didn't buy it from us.
Yeah.
It's not a Ticketmaster ticket. So I tell everybody, buy from Ticketmaster. I mean, those are real tickets. You don't know what you're going to get on the secondary market.
There's no way I would buy that. Yeah. I would.
And it's the Wild West with these guys, because there is no legislation. They've done a very good job of lobbying the state and the federal government to make sure there's no laws governing them.
Wow.
So they're just kind of wildcats. They can do anything they want.
That's bizarre. They better watch out. You've got about 4 years of White House experience. Maybe there is a way to stop them. But yeah, I would tell all of our listeners right now, or anybody, Ticketmaster, you got to buy directly from, Live Nation, Ticketmaster. You got to get the tickets. I would never go to the secondary market.
Find out who the seller is, like, Georgia State. Okay. I mean, Georgia Tech and University of Georgia have pack-in.
Okay.
Fox has pack-in. That's the system you should buy from. If it's State Farm or one of our buildings, it's Ticketmaster. But buy from the registered ticket agent for that event. People go online and buy. I mean, I have family members call me up, hey, I just saw these tickets. They're on such and such a site, and I'm like, don't buy it from there. You don't know what those tickets are. So go to the site, from the venue that is doing the show, the official ticket seller for that venue. That's where you need to buy your tickets. It's a gamble when you go to the secondaries.
Yeah, and it's hard if you just Google a show. There's all the sponsored third-party sites, and you don't know who they are. I go to the venue,
they pop up first.
Yeah, exactly.
Isn't that crazy? They pop up first.
Yeah,
and again, if you're just joining us, we're in the green room with Peter Conlon, chairman of Live Nation Georgia. And I think this is very useful because, I mean, it is happening more and more. And I guess it's people that it's just an afterthought. They didn't know when the tickets went on sale. They're trying to get good seats. Yeah. And that's why they go to this secondary market. I'd rather have a nosebleed and know it's real.
Right, from the real venue.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, do y'all save seats still, Peter, where like, hey, when you hear this, and I always wondered it even in terrestrial radio, hey, we're opening up some seats. We got 300 seats just came available. How does that happen?
Oh, the production
The
seats.
production seats or what have you. Yeah.
I'm sorry, what's the question
Yeah,
again?
just like when you hear these seats come available all of a sudden last second, usually they get local DJs to push it. It's 24, 48 hours, 72 hours out. Now it might just be leaked on social media where all these good seats or seats just all of a sudden.
After the show is set up, the production seats, after the venue's ready to go, there's
Yeah, a lot
leftovers.
of times we hold, not knowing the artist productions, we hold good seats sometimes, and then once we've got the artist production, we release those tickets. Yeah.
Okay.
But they're released on the site of whatever the venue is,
What was the
and then of
time
course,
frame on that, Peter? Is that usually 2 or 3 days out?
there's no rule.
Oh,
It can be a week after we announce when we get the CAD in showing the production, or it can be, and then usually there's a few releases right before the show on any show, 2 or 3 days out, and even the day of, there's always releases of good seats because a lot of time the artist had held seats to sell to friends and then they're releasing them. So there's always releases near the show.
wow. That's a gamble.
I used to hear that back in the day. Like, oh yeah, you try to buy the day of the show, there might be some good seats available.
Yeah.
Just when they release those.
Yeah, there's always a release the day of because we want to get rid of everything. And the artists a lot of times say they were holding 100 tickets for friends and family and they only used 50. So they put 50 out on the system that day. So yeah.
That's awesome.
So you can, but it's a gamble if you want to wait that long,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's tough. That's way tough. And then there's scalping outside of the venue, which
That's not really a thing anymore.
it's not a thing anymore. I don't think so either. It's all online. There's nobody really holding hard tickets outside the venue anymore.
Oh yeah, they don't.
Yeah.
Well, there's no such thing as a hard ticket anymore.
See, I don't even know. Oh my God, there is no hard ticket. You're right. Everything's on a screen, so there is no hard ticket ever. God,
It's kind of sad because I used to like some of the tickets,
Yeah. God, what y'all did with Music Midtown, some of your tickets, and I counted up just because I wanted to know. And I've got them in a coffee cup, so I'm not one of those people that have put them in a framed or an album or something. But I have got 38 tickets with Cooper with Conlon on it and
Cooley Conlon.
and Cooley Conlon. Yeah, I've got 38 tickets with Cooley Conlon.
Well, these
on
are
it.
all on the graphic here on Peter's graphic in the green room.
Yeah,
There's some of my stubs for my collection that are all Cooley Conlon shows.
Yeah, if you look at the graphic that we're putting up right now with Peter in his office, actually, it's not his office. He's at the Roxy in that picture. And you see the stubs. Those are the stubs, and that is from Jeff's collection. If we do another one, I'd like to give you some tickets. I've got my Billy Squier, Def Leppard. I've got my Bryan Adams Journey. I've got a few of those. But I think
Billy,
go ahead.
Billy was interesting. Billy used to settle with Billy. Usually with the accountant, but after the show, Billy would come into the settlement room and you'd settle with Billy.
Himself. Wow.
Yeah. And I remember at the Omni, he did so well. He hugged me right after the settlement, thanked me. And then, 30 years later, I was at the Rolling Stones show in New Jersey. Chuck Leavell had invited me. And I was there with a date. This girl who was a model in New York, she was a lot younger. And we got backstage passes at the Stones. So we were in the green room backstage. And Billy comes up to me and he says, "I know you." And I said, "Yeah, I used to work with you." And we talked for a minute and he remembered me and we talked about shows and I asked what he was doing. He said, "Well, I garden a lot now. I do a few shows, but I'm into gardening and I've got my place." He lives in that building in Manhattan where Madonna and Bono live, and then he has a place out in the country. And I remember his album cover was a Warhol, and I met Warhol at the White House, and I have some Warhols. And I said, "Yeah, I really like your album cover." He says, "Yeah, I got a stack of those, so if I ever get broke, I can sell those."
Damn.
And so we ended up hanging around at the show all night and whatever. And he had his wife with him.
Okay.
Was a really nice woman from Germany. And at the end of the night, my date, she's like 23, I think. She's like, "Who's that?" I said, "That's Billy Squier." She said, "Who's Billy Squier?"
Oh my God. Oh, I love it. I love it.
But his career, he was a meteor, and then he did that awful video.
Oh, I know. It crushed his career. It did.
A
When I
friend of
saw it, I was like, oh,
friend
Billy.
my friend of mine was his production manager, and they were rehearsing in Nevada, and we got ready to go on sale, and he called me up and he said, "Don't go on sale. We're canceling the tour.
Oh my God.
We went on sale some markets, and it's dead." And that was it. It was over
God.
because of that video. He was dancing around in these silk underwear, and before that he was a guitar god,
Yeah.
and then he went around. He looked like Peter Allen. So, it really,
I love Rufus. He's barking in the background. Dude, you're right. That video, when we all saw it, because it was right, I'm in high school. It's like, I was 83. So I'm trying to think what year that video came.
A little bit after that.
A little after that. Yeah. Because Billy was cool opening up for Def Leppard here at the Omni. You had that. And then you're right. It was after that. So I was out of high school. But yeah, his career died due to MTV Video. And what did your friends say that helped produce? I mean, what the hell was their idea behind a rock god falling back on a bed and bending his wrist and dancing weird?
Well, Billy was part of the Factory crowd. He was friends with Warhol and hung around the Factory.
Okay.
They were all very kind of club oriented, kind of, Lou Reedish kind of, crowd. And those were his roots. And I think he was just trying to expand to do a little more pop, and he just kind of went the wrong way.
Yeah. Wow, look at that. He was, if you think about it, that's probably definitely what he was doing, just trying to be a little more pop because he sees what's going on.
And being artsy.
Yeah.
Kind of like Warhol.
But I loved his music. I thought he was a great artist. And I was like, damn. I mean, even I looked at it like, what are you doing? Now society, I think he'd be fine now.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
We were just so damn homophobic back in the mid-'80s. We're like, what the hell? But you said he had a wife, so he's not gay. If you ever thought Billy Squier was gay, he is not. Just did a gay.
No. No, his wife is beautiful. She's very nice. She's from Germany. I think she was a model.
Damn.
But yeah, Billy was always a nice guy. I like Billy.
That's so cool. Hanging out with Billy Joel at a damn Rolling Stones concert. Squire. Sorry, what did I say, Billy Joel? But you know why? Because he hangs out with Billy Joel too.
Yeah.
Peter, your best story with Billy Joel, and people don't realize it, and I tell it now that you've told it in the green room on the Yeah Come On show. You told me the time that he brought a U-Haul in and unloaded his own damn piano. I'm like, wow.
I actually helped him load it.
You did?
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. I was at University of Georgia in the concert committee, and I booked him into the arena. And he just had that one album that he didn't think was a good album in retro, Life Serenade. And he was touring on it. And I saw he was available with the agent, so I booked him. It was like $7,500.
Damn.
And he showed up in U-Haul with his piano and a band, and he got out, and I helped him unload his piano and get it to the stage and hung around. And then he later on changed into his show clothes, and the hallways were slanted back then, and he had leather shoes on. And he was showing me how he can do a stage slide. He would slide down the thing. With his shoes.
Sliding down the ramp.
He was the nicest guy. I've never mentioned that to him, but
yeah.
The only real conversation I had with him was when he saw Alex backstage at the Elton Billy show and ran over screaming "Cooley."
Wow.
And he remembered Alex and thanked Alex and told Alex he was responsible for his career.
God, the work you two did, man.
Yeah.
Awesome.
He told me, he said that he had just formed his band and he hadn't written any songs yet. And he saw Alex was doing the Puerto Rico Pop Festival, which was kind of a disaster. Alex never liked talking about it.
Yeah.
And he said he called Alex up, and Alex answered the phone. It was in the evening, and Alex said, "Well, come to Puerto Rico. I'll put you on stage." So he and the band flew down to Puerto Rico, and they were on before Joe Cocker. And Billy said, we did a bunch of Joe Cocker songs, and it kind of pissed Joe off. And after his set, the guy in a white suit came up and handed him his card and said, "Call me Monday." And it was Clive Davis. And he said he got his first record deal.
Clive Davis. God, you think about these guys, it didn't just happen by accident. I mean, Clive's down there running around, hustling. It's based on hustle. Hustle.
Yeah, and then Alex said to Billy, "Well, I guess you owe me some money, Billy." And Billy looked at him and said, "No, Alex, that money's all gone." Um,
Christy got it.
but yeah, yeah, but Billy's a really nice guy.
Oh God.
Yeah, when I did him at Truist, he was the first show there. He just hangs around with the crew all day. You know, he sits in the crew tent and stuff. He's just a really nice guy.
He's down to earth, so he's got that blue collar nature about him, which sounds fantastic. Which is what you get from his videos. You sense that.
Yeah, he and Alex stayed in touch. I know. I found a couple notes in Alex's papers when I was going through Alex's stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I was getting ready to put it together, send it to the archives, and there were a couple handwritten notes from Billy in there to Alex.
Wow.
So they stayed over the years.
That's what's worth so much. People love the handwritten stuff that people don't do. I don't know about you. I probably owe Peter about 5 thank you cards, but I do like to try to send one out. It's cool when somebody takes the time to do something other than, a text message.
I occasionally get one. I still do. When I have stationery, I still send handwritten notes, but
yeah.
Oh my God, I get a text with an emoji,
Yes. I've done that to Peter.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God. It has been an adventure today. I look forward to next week. I never know where we're going to go. I do like the fact we had the conversations about the secondary market. I think people need to beware. Get those tickets from Ticketmaster. Lots of shows coming this summer. We'll get into some of those shows and some of those artists. This has been a blessing for us all. You've been listening to Peter Conlon, chairman of Live Nation Georgia, and he is in the green room with all of us today. Thank you so much, Peter.
Hey, thank you.
All right, buddy. Have a good day with Rufus, and enjoy working from home on a Friday, my man.
Okay.
All right,
thank
later,
you.
Peter.
Bye.
All right, buddy. Break out the Aquanet. It's time to party like it's 1983. Rockin' Taco and Synchronicity are throwing the raddest, baddest, most bodacious 80s party in town. And you get to show up looking like you stepped out of an MTV music video. It's an 80s night at Rockin' Taco, Thursday, May 7th, featuring Synchronicity and honoring the music of Sting and the Police. Hey, this is Southside Steve with the Yeah Come On Show. We will be broadcasting live. VIP room is available. VIP tickets, tables, and Gen Pop. 8 p.m. showtime in Roswell off Canton Street at Rockin' Taco. Get your tickets at therockintaco.com. Break out the...
All right, there we are, Rockin' Taco. We're 6 days away.
We are. We will be there live on Thursday. We will set up hours before the show. The show's at 8 p.m. Look to see us out there in the 6 o'clock hour, 6:30 for sure. Jeff and I will broadcast. We'll talk to the staff. Maybe the band will be there, and we'll give you an idea of what's coming, and we'll put that out there. We'll be doing that live. And then, of course, at 8 p.m., the big test is the police lover like yourself and the Sting man. Do they nail it note for note? Do they follow the lead, or are they just dudes in wigs?
Yeah, well, we're going to find out next Thursday.
No, Synchronicity is not dudes in wigs. These guys are going to crush it. We'll probably have them in, somebody from the band next week prior to the show. Also, we want to thank a few more sponsors here today. Special thanks to Small Sliders. Small Sliders, we're coming up on a 1-month anniversary for those guys. If you're going to Truist for a baseball game, before or after, grab some sliders. Why deal with that line? These are the best small hamburgers you're ever going to eat. I'm putting it up there with the best burgers I've ever had.
Yeah, well, they're up with any sliders you would get at any nice restaurant.
Yeah,
it's even though it's fast food, it does not taste like it.
It doesn't taste like fast food.
Fresh.
Fresh.
What they're...
Yes, made fresh, and it's got a fast food price, but not a taste. So jump on Sliders right there, Windy Hill and Cobb Parkway. Also, special thanks to North Atlanta Golf Carts. They are all things sports. We had Jack Sugar hanging on for dear life, but the show was dominated today by Peter Conlon. We try to hit it around that 30 minutes. I could put Jack on. He's standing by, but then we're at 35:40, and we're trying to deliver you a 4-hour Atlanta radio show in 30 minutes, and it's just minus all the long commercials and definitely music, but we're about to give you a cool song out Also, North Atlanta Golf Carts will be at a golf tournament we're going to do as guest, but Jeff is connected by business, and I want to give Steve Craig at 99X props, and that's Angel Flight.
Yeah, we're going to do a show there, actually, when we finish playing golf.
Yeah, when we finish playing golf. And North Atlanta Golf Carts is our sponsor, and their Brazelton store is 5 minutes down the road. So for anybody golfing, I'm definitely going to be talking about it and getting people to check out his golf carts. Ask for Craig Riddle. Ask for the Yeah Come On deal. Also, special thanks to David Markwell. He's doing therapy every day while we're living and breathing. He's helping people be better people and help work through your issues. Go to markwelltherapy.com. And we've got good news in May that we're going to tell you about how you can get a car wrapped, a boat wrapped, and maybe how you can rent a Rockstar bus that a rock star has toured in and go around with your friends to an event. And that is Star Coaches and Rap Star USA, a sponsor starting in May on the Yeah Come On show. We're bringing you the best at the most affordable price. Those are the people I dealt with in radio, and those are the people Jeff and I will deal with on the Yeah Come On show. All right, track 13. Man, let's see what we got here. I've got something, but I don't think it's a reach for you, but I think you'll be able to handle it. Okay,
what do you got?
Because I know we're going to probably do a Police song or a Sting song next week.
All next week. Yeah.
All next week. So it's my chance to be shallow a little bit and deliver to you maybe a rock song you haven't heard. So here we go. These are the things I've heard. I may have one or two. Also, I'm glad Steve MZ, it's a shame I didn't get to it, but next week we will talk all things Ramos and Locklear. Leave it right there.
Ramos.
Yeah, think about it. Ramos, the rebel, 80s television. Think about it. Think about it.
Okay,
Can't
we'll
think
save that
about
for
it.
Monday.
We'll also talk about somebody that might have killed somebody that ordered chainsaws, a body bag, and a shovel and had it delivered to his house after the death. That looks incriminating. That'll be a Steve MZ story, and we'll try to start it off with Jack Sugar on Monday in sports, giving you something to look for through the weekend as I browse. So what I do is I screenshot, Jeff. So I was listening to this song right here. I like it. But it's what we know the difference in alternative and what we listened to in the 80s, which was new wave.
Yeah.
So I'm going with a new wave song. I like Brian Ferry.
Oh, Roxy Music, yes. Okay.
But the song that I love the best is Kiss and Tell.
Kiss and Tell. Is it Brian Ferry or is it Roxy Music?
It's Brian Ferry.
Okay.
Kiss and Tell. It's
Okay.
not Roxy Music. And I just thought with all the rock, but new wave, because if you were living in the 80s, you were hearing, especially early 80s, the Billy Squier that we talked about with Peter Conlon. You're hearing, Judas Priest on the harder side or Iron Maiden. You got your Journey, Loverboy thrown in there. But then you had all this great new wave music.
Okay.
And I just thought it'd be cool to go with Brian Ferry, Kiss and Tell, because most people, if you kiss a good-looking girl, you're going to talk about it, Jeff. So take me there, baby.
Kiss and Tell. You can watch the video, listen to the song. Description is in the link. Brian Ferry, Kiss and Tell, track 13 on the Yeah Come On show.